What's up guys, I'm Reagan Kathryn, and today I'm going to show you how I made the Summer Claude from Fire Emblem Heroes for his voice actor, Joe. If you guys are new to the channel, let me tell you that I am a huge Fire Emblem fan. I especially love Three Houses, and the Golden Deer was my first route. I mean, come on, Claude von Reagan, it was meant to be. First up is the Popsicle. This was made using resin, craft sticks, a popsicle mold, and fake fruit. Before you start, make sure you are always handling resin with gloves on and that you're in a well-ventilated area. This stuff can be really toxic. Keep in mind that how resin works really depends on the type of resin that you get. I got a 2-part epoxy resin by Naked Fusion. This one works best if you warm up the resin by placing it under some warm water before you start handling it. After you mix 1 part resin to 1 part hardener, then it's ready to pour. This resin is not fast curing, so I don't need to rush with my pour. I placed all the different fruit inside the mold, then slowly poured the resin in, making sure to go slow and try to avoid bubbles. After, I placed the lid and craft stick through the top and let it sit for 72 hours. After 72 hours, I just had to demold it and it was good. Next up was the shorts. Joe wanted this costume to be able to be taken into water, so I started with a pair of plain black swim trunks. I seam ripped the bottom hem so that it was undone and I would be able to sew my gold fabric on top. The gold was made using faux dupioni with satin stitch lines made to form the diamond pattern. I measured out how much of the finished fabric I would need on the shorts and then cut out rectangular shapes. Before I added the gold fabric to the shorts, I used the gold bias tape to finish the front and back sides. The top part I hemmed and the bottom part I left normal, since it's going to get folded back into the hem we unpicked later. Dupioni really likes to fray, so I took a lighter and burned the edges to stop it from having any chance of unraveling in the future, especially since Joe will put this construction to the test. Next, I pinned the gold fabric to the shorts, then top stitched it to the swim trunks. After I folded the bottom back into the hem I had unpicked earlier and restitched it up. Being careful to change my top thread halfway through from gold to black so that you wouldn't see any weird colored thread on top. The cape is made in 2 parts. Part 1 is the belt that goes across the chest, which was made with some red pleather and with gold bias tape attached to the end. I also used some red and gold buttons and an emblem made of foam for additional decoration. The cape was made by cutting out a circle skirt without the waist. To do this, you measure how long you want the cape to be and measure it out across the fabric in an arc motion, making sure all the fabric is the same length from the top corner. I couldn't see the back of the outfit since it's a hero's costume, but I wanted the cape to have some extra parts to it, so I attached the golden deer emblem to the back using my favorite Wonder Under method. I have a full video on how to use this stuff because it's seriously my favorite. After the emblem was attached, I just needed to add all of the green tassels to the bottom. I did this by pinning them inside out to the cape before I sewed it right sides together and flipped it inside out. This gives it a finished edge without needing to be hemmed. For the belt, I ordered printed fabric from the Dangerous Ladies. Luckily, this was the same pattern as the one he has in his time skip belt in the game. I ironed on some lightweight interfacing to help it hold its shape, and then I sewed it right sides together with some extra cape fabric that I had. After turning it inside out, I added the gold scallop lace to the bottom and then hand sewed the different colored tassels to the bottom. For Claude's bracelet, I handmade it using some thread ribbon, glass beads, and a deer charm that I special ordered. I know it seems silly, but the little deer was probably one of the more expensive individual pieces of the costume. The glass beads were a little tricky to get on, so I ended up having to cut and burn the edges of my ribbon and use pliers to pull them through, but I think it turned out super cool. Then I just added the closures and the costume was done! wanted to give a super big thank you to Joe for letting me make this costume for you. Make sure to check out his video where you can see more of the costume in action. Let me know in the comments which costume I should make next. And until next time, bye!